Howdy! Welcome to the first part of this racing game marathon or whatever. Please care. There's this notion these days that racing games have gone rather stagnant, to say the least. Well, I thought they have always been stagnant since the creation of the genre. Racing is a really niche genre of games, say they take a lot to get used to it. Outside of car racers, you can't tell AAA or CMS games apart with their hunt for realism when it comes to graphics and physics. These developers are preoccupied whether or not they could make a full sim, they didn't stop to think if they should. If you claim that their sim racer is super duper realistic, chances are you get a pro driver play it and complain how unstable everything is. And don't get me started on iRacing. Having a subscription service and also being riddled with microtransactions doesn't make it appealing to me. At least there's something less egregious like Gran Turismo 7. I don't have a PS5 or a PS4 for that matter, and FS Unbound sounds fun, and Forza is still a thing. Whatever, I got bored of Horizon 5. It felt like a show with the Forza fun stuff. Yeah, there's another thing some modern racers have in common: live services with FOMO exploitation rather than just one and done fun deals. Oh, you suck at parking is fun? Why did it have to be a live service game though? Driving games weren't always like that though. In the past, developers have tried and succeeded making varying kinds of racers, more so when the 5th generation consoles came in. Their vehicles can have weapons or be weapons, they can have upgrade systems, visual customization, RPG elements, or even full-on RPGs. It isn't always about racing either, it can be about chasing a bad guy, making deliveries, being a taxi driver, or just driving to some place at night while hallucinations pop out to distract you. But the default has always been about racing, going for first place to feel that rush of success. And unfortunately, the genre has gone stagnant for the past 10 years, and many franchises, just as Burnout, Project Gotham Racing, and MotorStorm, have long since been abandoned. The only way to find some diversity is to go indie. And there's a lot of good stuff from them: Inertia Drift, Horizon Chase Turbo, My Summer Car, but I can only cover one game at a time, so for now, here's me reviewing another rally game. Auto Rally is a rallying game with an all-lowercase title, like Bell Hooks, rest in peace. It was made in 2020 by Vancouver-based Fun Selector, who previously made Absolute Drift. I thought it said Fun Skeletor. It was first released on PC and then got console ports the next year and phone ports this very year. I first started riding this drift when I was playing the Xbox One version via Game Pass, but since it got delisted from there, I'm playing the PC version. Before you ask, I got it free from the EGS. Look, it was too tempting. And I just have to get this out of the way. Stop killing games on COM! There, that'll save you from accusations that I don't support preservation. If it's your first time, the game starts up in Finland, where a giant Buddha statue comes up to tell you about the premise. Like you do. Anyways, drive around and find the letters if you like. As in literal letters, not the shit that'll make Slenderman appear if you pick them up. This one says they're called pages. Nimrod. What are we talking about again? Startup Career Mode, where you go for the history of rallying with categories changing every 5 years, from Group 2 to Group B to Group A. Except this is actually an alternate universe with the fatal accidents that signal to follow Group B didn't signal to follow Group B. Say hello to Group S. The structure is simple, as with any rally game. Each year you go through a rally or two composed of several stages each. Any rally is randomized, so no 2-year attempts are the same. So you better hope it doesn't give you a dirt rally when you want to drive a Sierra, get in a podium and you'll win a car, resist depleting the restart supply, and you get bonus paint job for specific cars, so long as you tolerate that stock kid's cheering sound effect. It always reminds me of Shoe on Head, and I hate it. It's really that bare bones, and I don't mind one bit. Let's just play the damn game since you're that impatient. I really love the presentation. The graphics are similar to Absolute Drift, but with a lot more color. It has a simplistic and cartoony aesthetic, this time in more grand locations, and I quite love it. Sort of like virtual racing mixed with micro machines, just with more stakes for spectators. The problem I have is the console port, at least for the base FatX bone. I actually played it when I still owned it, and the game was on Game Pass, and it was not very well optimized. While I don't mind 30 FPS despite looking like this, frame drops were rather frequent. On the One X, I didn't have that problem. It's so silky smooth, and I haven't noticed much frame drops unlike the base version. The PC version is a lot better with a great selection of graphical settings for a Unity game. Oh yeah, this runs on a Unity engine. Sorry. Slight nitpick, which isn't noticeable when you play the game like this, but when I was taking pictures of my own custom skin for one of the cars, I'll get to that, I noticed a little UV error on where the front upper right turn signal should be. I can see the driver's name there, but again, a nitpick, still better than Forza. Nah, that's a low-hanging fruit, still better than Sega GT 2002. I have this issue where the shadows kept changing. I'm pretty sure this also happens in the console version, but I don't remember. And there's also motion blur, which you can fortunately turn off, but I don't mind much in this game. The menu and the HUD are very minimalistic, with everything lowercase lettering. It looks good, though by default it can be hard to read. At least you can resize the words in the options menu. I don't know if you share the same sentiment as mine, but the rally and stage introductions and the menu before the start of the race are give me vibes of Dirt 3. Every time I see them, I kept expecting Manchester Orchestra to show up. That's We Are Scientists you're playing. Sound design is just very good, very pleasant. The engine noises sound so well. Though some of the car's sounds are giving me reminders of the Sport Quattro in WRC Rally Evolved. Makes me wonder if the cars do sound like that in real life. Answer is no, unfortunately. The actual Quattro, among others, just sound like regular rally cars. Oh well, I still like them. For a rally game though, it lacks a co-driver. I know you can see much of the road with this view, but it feels like I'm doing a trailblazer run. Wow, more reminders of the dirt games. Music is top notch, composed by Ukrainian artist Slava Korostov, better known by the pseudonym Tatriel. And I may be biased as I'm a big fan of synthwave, but the soundtrack didn't disappoint me. The songs are quite catchy and not repetitive, as the soundtrack has over 50 of them. Crazy! I play a few samples, but you're already hearing them anyway. They're that good. Unless you're burned out by the 80s revival trend. Tough! If that's not your thing, there's Do It for Takumi, which is Eurobeat as fuck. Compared to the rest, it sounds out of place. Shouldn't it be an absolute drift? What do you mean there's no Eurobeat in there? Really wish the music didn't fade in every time it starts though. When I first played it, I didn't expect a game looking like this play so harsh. It's a silly statement. That's like me expecting a full realistic game to be a racing simulator. The controls are simple enough to understand, but the handling is heavy and oversteery. You'll most likely oversteer a lot on dirt with a powerful rear-wheel drive car, and the all-wheel drive cars can be understeer prone on tarmac, and I love to snap oversteer on dirty surfaces, more so when it's raining. Still easier to play than, say, even WRC Rally Evolved. I find the handling enjoyable with or without the assists. It greatly emulates the rally driving to a T, and I love it. There's damage though, visually it's only more noticeable if the engine puffs smokes or catches fire, and you can destroy the car completely if you're not careful, at least in the normal, heavy and severe damage settings. At least I'm not dead, but even if you hit a tree or a wall, by the time you get to the second service area, it's still minor enough to fulfill the empty dots. Guess I don't have to be as careful as in Dirt Rally. The main objective of the game is to get from point A to point B in a stage as fast as you can. Like any rally game, whoever gets the shortest total time in a rally by staying consistent throughout wins. It's simple to learn but hard to master. As I mentioned, the cars take a while to get used to, but the tracks can be a doozy. The haystacks inside the corners can be annoying, the jumps might catch you off guard if you don't stay in your car, and the walls are your enemies. If you're at high speed and hit a wall, you spin to the other side, most likely. Despite how wide the paths are, about as wide as the Scottish roads in Forza Horizon 4, you can't escape the walls. They're worse than the unseen drivers in the stage. Like any typical rally game, they're all time attack challenges, so there are no AI drivers in the middle of the stage. Just to be clear, I was playing most of it at skill, the second hardest difficulty. They can be a mixed bag. They can be better than you on the stage, or they can just suck at it hard. There have been times when I finished the rally just seconds behind, but there have been ones where, despite me having accidents, I'm over a minute ahead of the second place driver. It's weird, but not uncommon in the actual rally, so I let it pass. All you need to know is you have to stay as consistent as possible in the stages, because you never know if you got passed. You only get to know it at the finish line. There's no splits in the stages, which is another oddity to see in a rally game. Every 2 stages you get to repair your car, and while all you do is fill the dots, the philosophy is the same as almost every rally game. You only have limited resources, so you better make the best of it. Though it isn't much to worry about. There was 1 or 2 instances where I couldn't fully repair and clean the car, but for most of the time, as I said before, they can be minor enough to have it completely fixed. Sometimes I only get to clean the car, and I'm at the severe damage model. I have some annoyances with this game though. First off, the auto recoveries. Whenever you're far away from the track, the game respawns you back in, with a time penalty added, much like in Dirt Rally. However, it can also happen even if you're recovering just fine. Oh, come on, I was just about to come back! I had this happen a few times in my playthrough, and it sucks. Dirt Rally wasn't that strict. And I get that the camera makes up for the lack of co-driver, but the damn trees can sometimes get in the way. It's great that the game lets you see the car under the foliage, but not for the path ahead of me in places like Finland. Not only that, but the car can be a nuisance. Get out of the way, I'm trying to see the track! Now thankfully, this game has tons of camera options, from position to FOV to shake frequency. Why would I want shaking in my game? I prefer using camera 1, because I'm just so used to the camera being this close to the car in racing games, but you can make it almost look like micro machines. However, even if you take away the trees and the crowd, some corners can still be hard to judge. They can be behind a tall hill or obstructed by sun glare. It makes you wish this had a co-driver. Another annoyance is that while you can take down signs, sponsor bits, and even foreign cars or whatever, you can't run over the tape barriers. That's a shame, I always expected them to be destructible in the rally game. But let's get on a lighter note. Cars! The list consists of some well-known and overlooked cars from 1967 to the late 90s, from the old Mini to the 205 to the Lancer Evo 6, plus some fun vehicles that were used as props in the stages like the log trucks and the Piaggio Ape. Man, I love when games add some silly bonus cars to the list. Codemasters used to be kings of that. Adding to the silliness of the game, each car has their own descriptions that mixes actual facts with a joke here and there. They put a turbocharger in a cake, no wonder it was so heavy. The cars themselves aren't licensed, obviously, so they have to have different names that either sound similar to the real name, nicknames given in the past, the real name but written backwards, or just whatever, it's a gorilla, deal with it. They're about as original as the opponents' names: Harry Van Hanen, Michelle Mattoon, Carlos Sainz, Colin McRae. But they're well modeled enough to resemble the rides in real life. And I gotta say, the list is just so good. It includes some obscure ones, a few more than others, like the Hammer V3 based on a mid-engine sport quattro concept that got scrapped and turned to this thing. I'll be honest, when it comes to the Group E cars, I like the original Sport Quattro S1 better than the E2. It doesn't have that fancy aero stuff that, while they help make it faster, just make it look tackier. Hell, when it comes to the Sank, the non-B version looks better to me. I don't know, some Group E cars just look silly to me. The Group S cars are even more. 2 wings! And if you think, oh, that can't be real, it's real! It's called the Lotus Samara Ava, and it's the Soviet's supposed entry to Group S. But of course, in real life, Group E got banned, and the Ava never came to be, aside from the prototype. And we swiftly moved to Group A, which thankfully the silliness is taken down a notch. Despite being more powerful than their real counterparts, you most likely won't hit even 250 kilometers an hour on these, just like them. Each car has their own livery set, consisting of paint jobs based on the real cars, simple ones, and unlockable ones with fancy artwork. If none of them suit you, you can always get fan-made ones from Overtake or someplace else, or even make your own. All you need is your image editor of your choice and start painting. The developers were kind enough to give us templates of all the cars so that you can make liveries easier. Here's what I prepared for this video. No matter how small the cars are, modders manage to create their own or recreate liveries from actual rally cars with such detail that you'll never notice when playing with them, unless you love taking pictures with the in-game photo mode. This is fantastic, it controls well, and you can tweak how it'll look with the post-processing effect menu, as standard. You can actually go as further as you like, unlike photo modes in some racing games. Looking at you, Forza. Add the UI, use the platform screenshot button or OBS like me, and boom, nice. I just wish I could zoom in further, but For the tracks themselves, I assume at first that they're setting fairly sized free rollable open worlds, much like in Expand Rally and the World Racing series. I thought that the way they're built makes them feel like you're driving in separate, yet unique maps. But it turns out the stages really are separate from the maps you free roam, so I was disappointed. The location list is a healthy one. You have Kenya, Finland, Norway. If you have Michigan, the comparison will be obvious. You also have Japan, Germany, Sardinia, Italy, and Indonesia, which, like Kenya, was later added post-release for free. Having Norway in the list as a choice, I expected Sweden. Sure, it's also a snow rally, and you get to drive on a frozen lake. The WRC did go to Norway for a few years, but still an odd choice to me. Japan looks beautiful. When it isn't raining, it looks so green and clean, and the cherry blossoms give it a nice touch. Surely beats the depressing sceneries in the old Colin McRae games and even the real life Hokkaido rally back when the WRC held there. Needs more cherry blossoms. I don't care that they were held later in the years. The tarmac stages feel like they should be in Kaido Battle or one of the initial D-Arcade games, but still. I always love when a rally game goes to Kenya. Another rally doesn't disappoint. It's home to the quickest stage of the game, in Lake Nakuru. Pretty good to drive on, and the giant golden elephant in Baringa was a treat. Here's Germany, inspired by the trio location that's usually held, so expect tanks and those goddamn hickle stones. Ooh, haystack chicanes in Germany. Wonder if I'll see them later. Finland is to be expected, mostly fast stages with lots of jumps and a bunch of trees that can shug a GTX 960 by a bit. Take it from me. It's alright, pretty challenging thanks to the jumps and trees. Sardinia is a treat, great to see stages with village sections in the middle. And Indonesia is also a great addition, even if the hills obscure what's coming. It's also home to the shortest stage in the game, it's Setonda Island at 2.5 kilometers. Then there's Australia, but I'll get to that. Other modes include Custom Rally and Time Attack, where you get to beat the online leaderboards if you like. Honestly, this is just an excuse to take some pics. Like any typical racing game of today, or really any roguelike, there's online events where you have 2 random challenges that change every day for stages or a week for rallies. It's fine, other than just to mention I have no notes. Not only is there rallying, there's also a free roam mode where you can drive around the maps at your leisure, as well as collecting bits like cassettes to unlock songs, letters to unlock places, snapshots, and road transit. Quite love this feature, though I have a bit of a nitpick. Trying to find all the cassettes and letters are time consuming, and the fact that the maps are large don't help matters. Still, more maps to explore than in Dirt Rally 2. So that was Auto Rally. Even with its faults like the camera and the lack of co-driver, it's still a pretty enjoyable game. It's not frustrating for a SimK rally game, and the amount of content is staggering, plus the free content it got after release. But then there's Australia. Unlike the Kenya and the Indonesia updates which provided additional locations, cars, and music at the cost of nothing, the Australia pack is paid DLC. Now, there isn't anything wrong with putting DLC into the game, only when there's too much for too much money. I'm looking at you, those games. But to be frank, I find it odd that Fun Selector just now sell DLC when they didn't need to before. But hey, if they need extra funding for the next game, all the proceeds go to a non-profit related to the indigenous Australians, I don't mind. I'd at least get some extra content out of this. But yeah, based on a rally, it's good, get it. Speaking of their next game, they're currently making The Golden Lap along with the makers of Hell is Others. Shouldn't it be called The Perfect Lap? Though instead of driving the car, you get to manage an F1 team. It probably isn't gonna be for me because I really suck at sports management games. Yet I have free football manager games for some reason. Well, this game was visually unique, but how about something that's mechanically unique? From EA of all people. What?
Speaking to Lawrence, I've acquired the package.
Perfect. Get down to level B2 before they send reinforcements.
Right ahead of you. What the?
Pure human.
So, are you here for the case? You can have it.
I don't want the case. I want you.
Why is she taking so long? Take your positions.
Hello, sweetie.
Vincent.
It's so nice to see you. But from the look on your face, you're not worthy.
Lauren, Pinky is in front.
Come on. I dare you to shoot me. See if you care about her.
Just take it. I'll be fine. No. You won't be fine! You won't be fine!
Lauren!
Just go! You just fucking kicked me! How?
Forget how. Why is she willingly being taken hostage by him?
Did you miss me, dear?
I did.